Yo guys, what is going on? It's Ranger W here. Here with the new league, it's a new day. Here with my friend Byron. What's going on, Byron?
Not much. Just excited. Excited with the new draft. Ready to look at these teams and see what everybody picked and what we think about it.
Exactly. That's what we're here to do. If you couldn't tell by the title or even the thumbnail, we are going to be ranking all 12 teams at IPSL Ubers. We're so happy to be here. We're happy to rank these teams. It's going to be good. Be sure to leave a comment and like this video if you enjoyed it, and comment anything we missed or we said that really disturbed you. But keep in mind, we don't care. I'm just kidding. Keep
just not at all. Yeah. keep your salt in there. We won't really care. It's okay.
But feel free to do it anyways, and don't forget to smash that like button. So we're going to start off with Something's team. He is currently a semi-finalist in the SPL. It's a regular standard league if you don't know. And he's here rocking with this pretty scary team. He had the #1 overall pick with Mega Metagross. Has some scary threats like Darkrai, crazy Z move Torn T with Z Hurricanes and whatnot. Z Executree can be scary as well. I find that it usually just likes to run a Scarf set and stuff like that. And his Toxapex is just going to be hard to deal with any given week. Just one pick I kind of have a little bit of gripes with is that Ambipom pick. It was taken a little earlier than it should have been, but it is what it is. Maybe he likes Ambipom or something. Maybe he has a Gen 4 fetish like our buddy Green in this league.
Got that technician fake out, on deck.
I mean, that's what it's going to do this season. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, pretty much. Technician fake out, tail slap. Honestly, I think, a lot of people probably didn't expect the Mega Metagross pick #1 overall. I think it's fine. I think Mega Metagross has that nice 110 speed tier. Hits really hard, consistently doesn't get intimidated or affected by the sticky web before it Mega Evolves, which is really nice. Pairing it with Darkrai. The one thing I will say about this team is a little bit weak to Earthquake spam. He does have the Delmise and the Torn T to kind of mitigate that a little bit, so I think if he plays it correctly, he'll be fine. Other than that, I think it's a really good team. Solid speed tiers. Mega Metagross and Darkrai together are going to be scary. Torn T to just regen and eat things, but Fable 2. It's going to be a problem.
Basically, it's just really weak to Mamoswine because both of those are weak to ice type attacks, and obviously Mamoswine has rocking with the Earthquake and Icicle Crash combination. It's just going to run. But yeah,
I think most teams are weak to Mamoswine though. Like Mamoswine is just a problem. But we'll get to that in a little bit, I think. But absolutely. So yeah, a little bit Earthquake weak.
And you're like, if you had to rank this team like middle of the pack, low tier. Obviously, we haven't went through all the teams yet, but maybe we'll just give you a little bit of your thoughts right now. What do you think this team is?
Right.
Like a top 5 or what?
I think it's close. I think it may be either right outside of that top 5 or maybe at that 5. It's really good. I like a lot of the synergy there. I like the pivoting. I love me some pivoting, always. I like some of the speed tiers he has. He can play with a little bit. Some really good Scarfers as well. I think it's probably either end of the top 5 or like right at that maybe 6th spot, somewhere around there.
All right, thank you for your analysis. It was a good one. Good job. And moving on to Beal, co-admin of this league, coach of the new franchise, I believe, the Los Angeles Lake Spirits. He's rocking out with the Lunala, Tapu Lele, and Terrakion. Quite an intimidating trio to start off the draft. Z Terrakion is very scary, guys. You guys do not know how scary Terrakion can be, Z or not Z, with the Choice Band, Choice Scarf, and now the potential Z using 100% landing them Stone Edges every given week and no drawbacks from going for like a Z close combat, no defenses drop. Then you got a little bit, his draft went a little downhill from there. It just is my opinion. I did not like the Blastoise pick. I think it was taken way too early when threats like Manaphy and just a bunch of other good Pokemon were available at that point of the draft. And Gliscor, I believe, was taken a little too early. I think Gliscor is somewhat one-dimensional. I'm gonna get a little bit of drawback from that, or a little criticism from that, but it's just usually gonna be a rocker and with Toxic Heal or just a bulky defensive mod, defog support. Obviously, I know there's things as Swords Dance, Rock Polish, Acrobatics, Fire Fang, and whatnot. Right. It's usually just that
quad weakness to ice kind of prevents that setup though every once in a while, I would say. I mean, it's definitely good, but yeah, obviously you can't really, if you're quad weak to ice shard, setting up can be a little.
Oh, absolutely. And then what I was really confused about is why he took Blaziken when things like Entei were on the board. Obviously, I think Entei might be a little more expensive, but I'm pretty sure it's the same pointage. Looking at it right now, it's probably a tier 4. It's just very confusing to me why you would take Blaziken. Maybe he just really wanted that fighting type just to hit things really hard with high jump kicks, but I'm not a big fan of Blaziken without the speed boost. Obviously, speed boost is a tier 1, which is very good, very good. It's a very good mon with the speed boost ability. And then Z Thunder,
Right.
just really nice. It hits really hard, and just the rest of the way, I think he went pretty standard. Whimsicott tried to cover up his grass type he needed on his team. And Jordagon is not really the best dragon type in the game. It does what it does pretty well. I don't really have a lot of experience with it, but we'll let you talk about that. And then Mega Scissor is always a big threat in any league, but it's a little counterintuitive. Is that the word I say? He does have the Tapu Lele with the Psychic Surge.
Yeah, you're right.
Prevents the priority. I know Alolan Muk gets priority. I'm just trying to see what else gets priority on his team, and it does. Does Whimsicott's Prankster ability, is it not working Tapu Lele's Psychic Surge? I'm gonna look that up, but I'm not sure
I
about
feel
that.
like yes, but I'm not like 100% sure off the top of my head. I haven't really tried to use, but I'm pretty sure it is indeed blocking that. The one thing I will say, I'll give Bill props for this draft, and then also drafting arguably their best switch-in and their biggest counter in Alolan Muck. That's really good, 100%. The Blastoise pick and the Blaziken pick, I do agree. Like, I mean, especially if you wanted a spinner, there are probably better spinners available at that point in the draft. There are probably better water types available. And Blaziken, yeah, there were probably better, Entei. I'm not sure what else was 100% available, but probably better fire types. And he already had the fighting type available in Terrakion as well, so really didn't need it,
Yeah,
that extra step. So those are only 2 picks I'm kind of about, but other than that, I think it's a fine draft. And like I said, Lele and Lunala with their biggest counter on the same team makes a lot of sense, so I do like that, though.
absolutely. I think it's a good team. Oh, I think it's a good team. I think this is another the middle of the pack type of team. Lunala is gonna be really scary with its Shadow Shield ability, being able to take hits with, which is basically like a multi skill, I believe. The Shadow Shield ability, and obviously we
Yep.
know Lele is really good. It's not allowed in standard leagues. It's just gonna hit things really hard, and he's got a really good pairing with those two. The dual psychic types, a little weak to
Right.
Ghost on his team and whatnot, but it is what it is.
That's where the Alolan Muck comes in, right? Exactly. So, but
Yeah,
no, overall, I like it. Good bulk,
yeah. What do
good
you think
talent.
he ranks overall?
I think I agree with you. Probably around middle of the pack, maybe like 7, 8, somewhere. It has redeeming qualities for sure, but I think there are some picks that maybe could have been changed around or could have been picked later, or maybe a different Pokemon could have been in that spot. But overall, solid team.
Yeah, looking at it, it's not the fastest team. Just to keep going a little bit, it's not the fastest team. I believe his fastest mon is Dundee T. I could be mistaken, and that's base 111 speed.
Uh,
101 speed. No, it's Terrakion. Excuse me.
I was
108.
gonna say Thunder T is 101. Yeah,
Yep.
Terrakion's the fastest. Yep.
And that's only 108. That's not even very fast.
Yeah, and that also kind of forces you to maybe have to run that scarf on Lunala or Lele or Terrakion more often than you maybe already want to.
And
So
excuse
that could be a little bit of a.
I apologize, but it's actually Whimsicott with base 116.
Oh, of course, yeah, Whimsicott. It's just Whimsicott. Whimsicott definitely is the speed. It doesn't hit hard at all. That's the only issue with Whimsicott. But good support, man. I would say.
Absolutely. I just
But
think
yeah,
it's a little bit better on the speed tiers, but that's just my opinion. I do agree middle of the pack.
Yes.
Moving on to one of the bulkier teams in the league, Hero, aka Galaden Knight. He's rocking out with Z Zygarde and Z Hoopa U. Good Z users, probably his best Z users on his team. Looking at his team, he's the Sticky Web support, because he does have a little bit of a slower team than I would like with stuff like Hoopa and Darmanitan, which usually is scarfed, and Hoopa appreciates the scarf support as well. And yeah, he's just rocking out with a pretty hard-hitting team. What are your thoughts about this team? I think it's a really good team with the Auroravale support as well, with the Alolan Knight.
Absolutely. See, again, and the thing about bulk though too, you can have all the bulk you want, but if it doesn't make sense, then why even have it? So he has a lot of really synergistic bulk, which is really scary. The Mega Slowbro into the Ferrothorn and Dialga and the Zapdos all wrapped up in one with Veil support. It's just going to be a really hard team to really just break down. That's what I think about this team when I see it. It's just headaches. It's going to be a long day of prep for whoever has to play him immediately just because of that. And the Greninja can just pick things off in Darmanitan as well in the end game. Those two can just kind of pick off things for the bulk too. So just really good synergy in that way as well.
I agree. I like Slurpuff. I think it's a very underrated mon. It can obviously run Belly Drum. It's the most famous set. And then it also gets stats like Calm Mind. Like, it gets decent coverage. I think Flamethrower. And obviously Dazzling Gleam and
Iron
whatnot.
defense if you want to be evil.
And looking at his team, Hoopa hits really hard, guys. You guys, I know Hoopa's
Absolutely.
not leagues either, but that thing hits really hard. It's not a top tier in Ubers. I don't like in standard Ubers. Smogon, I don't know if it's too common in that format because U-turn is probably
No.
prevalent. But yeah, it can definitely shine in this type of format. There's very limited switch
Yes.
in. Another thing I wanted to point out is he does have Trick Room potential. If you look at the team, Dialga gets Trick Room, Ferrothorn thrives in Trick Room, Slowbro gets Trick Room, Hoopa U appreciates Trick Room as well. So that's just one
Yes.
thing to note. And a slower Darmanitan, base 95 speed, I believe, can thrive in that Trick Room environment. And Zygarde's going to be a problem any week with the Z move, of course. It's just going to hit things.
Absolutely. And plus just spamming Thousand Arrows.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
just really, really good synergy in that way.
Coil.
Plus, again, a big thing with Hoopa U is bug type switch-ins. He has a bunch of bug resists just chilling on his team just to switch into those U-turns, switch into those signal beams. So I think he'll be fine there. And yeah, a lot of different ways you can run this team for sure. And that's, again, just going to be adding to how complicated it's going to be to try to.
Oh, absolutely, dude. Moving on to Jay's team. Rocking out with the Xerneas, Latias, and Jirachi Z. Quite a threatening team to begin with. And Miss Magius as his second Z is just a little bit of a questionable move on my side. Or at least I think it is. But Weavile is a really good mon, of course, takes out all the dragon types that come his way. What are your thoughts on Jay's team, real quick?
And again, obviously, emphasis on the fact that Xerneas does not get access to Geomancy. Obviously, that would be insane. I like the core synergy overall. But everything. Miss Magus, I think, is actually a very underrated Z captain because obviously things like Z Memento gets a lot of different coverage as well. Plus, just Z Shadow Ball will hit really hard and just make that thing a more effective Nasty Plot sweeper. I guess he could have maybe put Z on Dugtrio if he wanted to, or even Rotom Heat to make those overheats and not drop your special attack. But other than that, I think Miss Magus was a good choice for a Z captain. I like the speed tiers. I like the core synergy. I like the pivoting. Again, like I said before, I love me some pivoting, man. And this team has a lot of it. He covers up his own weaknesses pretty well. And yeah, overall, I like the team.
I like the team too, but I'm just not a big fan of Chestnut. It's just my personal opinion. I get it's a good defensive mon. Spiky Shield. I believe he gets Spike Leech Seed, but I think he's done a better grass type. If I'm mistaken, I think stuff like Shaman and even maybe in Bolu was available at this point. I could be wrong about that, but just a lot of other grass types I like better.
Yeah,
than
Chestnut's definitely.
It's not the best.
I mean, you know,
it's more of a grass type than it is a fighting type, which is something I'll note.
I would agree.
Really have like
I mean, Drain Punch can work and whatnot. It's just, yeah, I like Chestnut. I would say it's probably it's a little bit of a weaker point because again, that quad weakness can be trouble. But paired with Jirachi and Leech Seed and Wish there too, I think, and Vaporeon as well and Wish. So I think he can make it work. I think, it's a little bit of a weaker pick, but I think he can make it work with what he has around it.
Alligator's a little bit of an interesting pick. It's mainly known as for its setup sweeping set, maybe a choice band liquidation type of set. But usually it's Dragon Dance or Swords Dance, Aqua Jet, Liquidation, Ice Punch, etc. It's never really taken in leagues too often because I think it over relies on setup and it doesn't really hit as hard as it should with a choice band. There's just better options like Azumarill is a better water type, physical water type hitting mon than for Alligator. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting that he drafted that. So real quick, where would you rank Hero's team, just to go back to that because we forgot to rank that.
Hero, I would say Hero's easily top 5, maybe even top 3, probably top 3. I really like Hero's team. I like the balance there. I like the speed. I like the way you can kind of just manipulate the team however he wants. Definitely, I would say top 3 for me.
Okay, and then how about Jay here?
Jay, I'd probably say, I guess I would say around middle of the pack, or maybe I like it. I do think there are some weaknesses that could be exploited if you're not careful with it. And again, I think realistically, just candidly, every team in this league to me is going to be busted because of just the amount of crazy things that are going to be drafted. But I like a lot of the synergy. Maybe could be a little better, like you said, that Chestnut maybe for Alligator. But I'll probably say like lower middle, probably for Jay.
Forget Mega Latias is usually not allowed in standard leagues, whereas Mega Latios is. It's just a reflect type potential. It gets good coverage, Calm Mind. It could be Dragon Dance Sweeper as well. Nothing's gonna
Well,
be
Latios doesn't get D-Dance, but Latios does. But
exactly.
um,
Not yet.
but Healing Wish, I mean, you can give Xerneas a second life with Healing Wish if you want. But I mean, you have two Wish passers, premier Wish passers in Jirachi and Vaporeon, to keep all those things healthy. Like I said, a lot of what he did makes sense for sure. So I got to give him some props for that.
Oh,
But just
absolutely.
overall, maybe not some of the other thing too, like Xerneas without Geomancy, but that Fairy Aura ability, boosting those Moonblasts, it's so scary. Very hard to switch into, and just adds another dimension as well. Plus, oh, you have a really good Steel type. Well, Dugtrio is going to trap you, so it just makes it even harder.
Absolutely.
So I do like that.
Yeah. That synergy is actually really, really good on his end. Moving
Yeah,
on.
absolutely.
Moving on to Green's team, New York Yankees coach. His team is a little bit on the slow end. Looking at it, he has Gudra and Infernape as his Z captains. Not a very fast team. If I'm looking at it, I think Lugia is his fastest Pokemon.
110. Right.
That doesn't usually run max speed, does it?
You don't run max speed Lugia very often, no. I mean, you can. It's just, are you going to? Probably not. Infernape's probably going to be, they're going to be the speediest thing. Choice Scarf Crocodile or Mamoswine, I suppose, if you want to run Scarf Mamo. But yeah, a little bit on the slower side for sure. I do like the Lugia Venusaur though. That's going to be very scary. I will say that much. Lugia and Gudra too. Oh my lord. That's going to be scary to break through.
Biltol has entered the chat. Just looking at it, nah. I mean, it doesn't do as good as I wanted to do. But with Dark Aura, it's gonna do work against him. But yeah, I like his team. I like the bulk of it. But Aegislash is obviously a mind game machine with its potential to be like basically special, physical, King Shield.
Right.
It could Sword Dance up on you and just kill you with Shadow Sneaks and stuff. But yeah, I want to talk a little bit about his like later picks, Sylveon and Mamoswine. He got those towards the end of the draft. Whoa, how did we let him get those two? Those two are pretty much equals in standard leagues, and for him to get them so late in the draft, and wow, it's just quite remarkable. But what are your
that was impressive. I definitely, getting those Pokemon like even after Luxray and Weezing, for example, is kind of insane. I guess it just shows, hey, patience. If you know what you want and you can kind of just wait it out until everybody else picks a bunch of different things before you can kind of pick whatever you need from there. A little bit of the common weakness with he has Gudra Lugia though for that grass. A little bit grass weak in a few months, but again, that Sap Sipper, Gudra can take advantage of that. And like you said, just overall, just the speed bothers. Just the only thing that bothers me about this team is the speed. Nothing 120 plus is a little, because kind of forces you into situations where you have to run Scarfers and whatnot, where maybe you didn't want to before.
Yeah,
so that would be the main thing I would be worried about with him.
If he doesn't run those Scarfers, this allows for like faster teams such as myself or just any team with a lot of faster mons to run just bans and specs and really break down his team, because you figure his team is so slow. I can naturally outspeed his team without a scarf, excuse me. So I can just afford to run a specs or a band and afford to just demolish his team that way. Yeah, I agree with you. He does have some decent priority in stuff like Swine,
Aegislash and Mamoswine. Yep.
But yeah, I'm not a big fan of the Luxray pick. Obviously, it doesn't go drafted very often in leagues, at least from my experience. He got it sort of in the middle of the draft. I'm confused about that. He kind of already had a Rotom. But obviously, Rotom does a completely different thing. But he decided he wanted another electric type for some reason. Maybe the Volt turn. Maybe to help his Volt turn. But I mean, we'll just see how that goes.
Right, but even for example, like Jolteon was still available at that point. I know a few others, I'm sure. So there were definitely other electric types that could have gone. Maybe he wanted that physical attacker, that that guts, that status absorber, maybe even to pair with Lugia, could be interesting. But yeah, I definitely think there could be better electric types there.
Oh, absolutely. Where would you rank? Yeah, where would you rank Green's team?
I think I might have to put it, like, I like the team. I might have to put it a little bit lower though, just because of that speed. That speed just kind of, it just bothers me a little bit. Not having that pure that just pure non-scarfed speed to just be able to take it. You got to have a little bit of everything there. So that's the only thing that worries me there. It is going to be a hard team to take down though, as far as bulk though. I will say that much.
Oh yeah, he's just gonna absolutely. Moving on to the next team and the last team in the top row. Ty, coach of the Fox Creek Cinecinos. His Z users are Celesteela and Mimikyu. Very good Z users in my opinion. Probably his best Z users, maybe outside of Manaphy or Celebi or something like that. But yeah, it's just a really good Z users. Not a big fan of his speed as well. Barring take Beedrill off the team, his team is not as scary in terms of speed. Obviously, Bucephalon is relatively fast, and Cincino, but Cincino's not coming every week. It's not that good, guys. I hate to break it to you. It's not the it's not the best normal type in tier 5. But yeah, I like his I like the Beedrill though. I think that can work really well on this team with the U-turn potential. Silvali's going to be really good with the parting shot. One thing I'm not a big fan of is drafting two mons that are like going to be a main part of his team in the same speed. I'm referring to Manaphy and Celebi, both with base 100 speed. I don't really like that as much as I think he does. But I mean, what are your thoughts on that in his team and overall?
One thing I will say, I've used Kiram White in an Ubers league before. It has no real switch-ins. 170 base special attack, Dragon Stab, Ice Stab, Flash Cannon, Fusion Flare, Earth Power. Like you can't switch in. So that's one thing I will give him. That's amazing Pokemon to have. I do agree the speed tiers are a little wonky in the sense that it goes from 110 all the way up to 145, and you can't really have anything in the middle there. The two Pixies are interesting. Could maybe have had a different bulky Pokemon there instead, but I think Manaphy and Celebi can both do their jobs within this team, which is good.
Yeah.
Donphan gives some nice removal, which is important because obviously Beedrill and Kiram White, they don't like those rocks. I would maybe say he'd pick a... Yes.
Yeah.
So that's good. But yeah, no rocks for them. So definitely, Defogs of Valley even can come in handy there.
Yeah, I mean,
I think there are going to be situations where he has to.
But he does have really hard-hitting wall breakers, and Kiram White is obviously a special wall breaker. And then Mega Beedrill hits really hard on the physical side. It's going to be really hard to take hits from those two.
Yeah.
Respectively.
Definitely, that's going to be a theme, I think, for this whole thing, is switching in. Good luck. That's a lot of drafts here. And that's just this is one of those, for sure.
Absolutely. What are your thoughts on where he should be ranked overall?
Just kind of looking here and just looking at all the rest of the teams. I guess again it's probably low. I guess I'd have to say lower middle because it's just he has all these teams have redeeming qualities, but is it going to be a team that scares you the most? Maybe not. But I do like a lot of what he's doing, so I can't put him maybe I can't really drop him all the way to the bottom.
I'd say around
9 or 9. Yeah. That's about where I would say as well. Yeah.
It basically, which is basically what we're doing with these rankings at the moment. But yeah, I would definitely say like 9 or 8. Not the strongest, but we'll see if he can make it work. Obviously, a lot of it comes down to prep and battle.
Absolutely.
I'd say the team composition makes up a good portion of it, but if you can make up for it with your battling and prep overall. So
absolutely.
Moving on to the first team in the bottom row. I'm just gonna give you some of my idea. Some reasons I went with this team. I wanted a fast team this time. I wanted something. I usually go for the balanced offensive approach, but I wanted something that could hit really hard and really fast and just kill things on the opponent's team, which I kind of think I did pretty well in this draft. I went for Yveltal, Coco, Mega Gallade, Garchomp, and Volcanion. Tell me a switch into any of those. To all of those at once. Nothing does. Kartana is going to be my Z user. Obviously, going to hit really hard with the Leaf Blade. Give it that beast boost it needs to successfully sweep teams. And yeah, it's just going to be fun with the Coco, etc. Enough of that. I'll let you talk a little bit about my team and what you're.
You're definitely the hyper offense king here. Not even a question. Nobody really can switch into all of those things for sure. Plus, you even have the hazards on the back end with the Selgor that makes switching into those things even harder, which is scary. Obviously, the one thing when you go with that hyper offense, you do lack a little bit of the bulk. Kofag, Kraganal, and Licky Licky obviously can kind of mitigate that, but also with all these threats, are you going to bring those every week? I guess is my question. You know what I mean? So that would be like my one thought. But other than that, I think it's a good team. And again, like you said, hard to switch into. Really hard to switch into, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to bring all of them every week. It's just gonna have to be KO for KO. Basically, what my thought process was that in Ubers leagues, I want to try to kill those Ubers because obviously Ubers naturally have a lot of bulk in them, or like they tend to, like Groudon, Solgaleo, obviously, they're just the next two on the rosters. I need something just to get rid of those, just destroy those, nuke them. But I think I kind of did that well. But where would you rank my team? I'm not going to rank it just to avoid a little bit of bias.
A little bit.
Oh,
I would put you probably around. I'm gonna say 5. I'll put like in that generally. I think I like what you can do. I'll just also it's just personal taste to a degree for me too. Per offense guy, I really like my balance and my bulky offense personally. So, but that's just a personal thing for me. But again, this team is very, very, very scary. And anybody who doesn't recognize that, you're crazy. This is going to be hard to prep for. I will say that much.
thank you very much. Moving on to Nanki, a newcomer to the Draft League format, rocking out with Lando T and Kieran Black at the C users. Pretty standard stuff there, but standard isn't always a bad thing. Looking at his top 3 picks, they're all below base 100 speed. Kind of interesting there. His team is relatively slow. He's going to have to run a lot of Scarfers like Scarf Magnezone, maybe even Scarfini. Scarfini works out really well. Just ask Schmidt. Okay, that was a bad bit. Obviously, Mega Sceptile is not very used too much in League format. Shoutouts to MB, who's using it right now, I believe, in the WBE. Could be wrong about that, but I think it is a WBE. Kind of interesting he went for Rhydon instead of Rhyperior. Maybe just wanted that bit of bulk, I guess. Maybe
Yeah, that Eviolite, yeah.
But yeah, it's interesting. And then Ditto. Ditto is obviously scary to prep for. It's going to be able to copy all these Ubers in this league. How scary is it?
Yeah, exactly. Ditto in an Ubers league is horrifying because, yeah. Oh, I'm going to, for example, I'm going to set up a shift gear with my Magearna. Okay, well, that's mine now, too. Just for a quick example. So it's very, very scary in that sense. I like those. At the same time, maybe Lando T round 1 I wouldn't have gone with because I think there were better options. Probably could have waited till round 2 for it. But other than that, I do like a lot of what the team does overall. Other thing I would say also, lack of recovery could be an issue with this team. You don't really have any wish passers. Recovery with Finny outside of like Z Haze or Arcanine and Solgaleo with Morning Sun. So that would be the one thing I would be worried about on his team. Not really a whole lot of recovery there.
Oh, absolutely.
So you get to switch in and then.
Yeah, I would definitely say that. I would also point this out. It is a little bit Earthquake weak. I don't know if you see in the middle, like 4 or 5 of his mons are just like really weak to ground type. Obviously, Sceptile is not a mon that wants to take any hit really, but even a ground Earthquake is going to do a ton to it. Just looking at his team, he has Solgaleo weak to ground, Rhydon weak to ground, Magnezone weak to ground, Arcanine weak to ground, Raikou weak to ground, Nidoking weak to ground. Do you see what I'm going with?
And even Finny, Finny can switch in on an Earthquake, but does it really want to? No. So, and the other thing is kind of funny. We talk about that Mamoswine weakness again. Mega Sceptile and Lando T are your Earthquake switch-ins, but they're both horribly weak to Ice. So, a little bit of a problem there. You're right. I would agree with that. Yes.
Oh, absolutely, dude. It's going to be interesting to see how he works around that. Maybe he'll just have to take the L versus the Mamoswine team. Is there a Mamoswine team? I'm trying to see right now. No offense.
I feel like Mamoswine couldn't have gone undrafted. There's no way.
I mean, we'll find out.
Otherwise, I got me a week 1 free agent to pick up.
All right, where would you rank his team overall?
I think again, just because of some of that synergy not quite being there, probably more towards the bottom for me. Again, all of these teams are going to be broken. All of these teams have things that are that Ditto is horrifying. It may not look very threatening, but when that Ditto turns into a Marshadow or that Ditto turns into a whatever it wants to turn into, it's going to be bad. But yeah, I'd probably say more towards the bottom, just because of like the lack of overall pure synergy, at least in my opinion.
I would agree. Moving on to our next team, Yoshi Plays, the only team that decided to go weather in this format, rocking out with the sun, of course, as you can see, with the Groudon and Torkoal. But then he used things like Venusaur and Mega Houndoom to really take advantage of that sun that those two will bring. Obviously, Heatran is there too to really benefit from that sun. His Lava Plumes are going to be doing a ton of damage. So yeah, what do you think about this man's team? It's a little slow, but
it is a little slow.
But
the only other thing is to having that. Well, actually, no, I think it'll be fine because Precipice Blades, I don't believe, is affected by grassy terrain, so that helps out Groudon at least a little bit. He doesn't have to worry about clicking Earthquake.
It is not.
So there you go. That makes. I was gonna say, oh well, he can't click Earthquake in grassy terrain, but Precipice Blade. So I think he's covered there. Overall, I like the synergy. Giratina Origin and Heatran, literally perfect type synergy as far as like, oh, I'm weak to ground and I'm weak to fighting and I'm weak to water. Giratina Origin is resistant or immune to all of those, so I like that. Sticky Webs to help with that lack of speed that you were kind of talking about as well, and Lucario for priority. Overall, I like the team. It's definitely synergistic. I've never really seen a Sun team do all that well in a draft, but this is definitely different because it's Ubers and you have two really solid Sun setters. So I think if this could happen, I think if Sun could be successful, I think this is a team that it could work on for sure.
Let's not forget Dundee. Dundee is just a really scary mon. Dundee incarnate, really fast, hard hitting, prankster ability. It could get off thunder waves to slow down the opponent's team. But yeah, it's just gonna be bad news for anyone who plays against it.
Absolutely.
Is
gonna be scary.
Rock setter, of course. But let's talk a little about the Giratina Origins. It's gonna be really hard to switch in. I mean, not switching out. Excuse me. It's kind of limited because it has to run that orb, so it can't really run an item any week. So that's gonna be something that I kind of wanted to point out. Although it is really it is tier 2 for a reason and not.
Yeah, that's why it's tier 2, not 1. Absolutely. But yeah, like I said, the way it just perfectly synergizes type-wise with Heatran, I do think makes up for that. Again, like no item is unfortunate, but other than like that synergy that's there, I think makes up for that, at least in some degree.
Absolutely. Moving on to Matrix's team. But before we do that, where would you rank Yoshi's team in terms of the draft rankings?
Actually, I think I'm gonna put it top 5. I think it's in there somewhere. I'm not sure exactly. Maybe 4, maybe 3. It's in there. It's in there. I like it. I like a lot of what it does. I like the type synergy. I like the different speed mixing of tiers he has. I just like it overall. It's very balanced. I like it.
I like it too, and I thank you for that analysis. But yeah, I think he's gonna be very scary to prep for. Obviously, Sun is gonna be predictable most weeks, but that's why we have Licky Cloud 9, baby.
Yeah. Oh wait, I think I battled him with 1. I need to pick up Gold Duck real quick. Wait a minute.
Make the moves real quick. All right. Moving on to our 4th team in the bottom row, Matrix coach of the Philadelphia Pidgeys, a long-term IPSL coach. Glad to have him back into the league. He's rocking out with Marshadow and Mega Mawile as his top 2 picks. Not a big fan of Mega Mawile. I just think Magearna is a way better same type combination, if that makes sense. Mega Mawile is kind of limited in the sets it can run. It's usually Swords Dance, Sucker Punch, Play Rough, Iron Head, maybe Fire Fang, or whatnot. It's just kind of limited. Maybe Stealth Rocks if it really wants to. But Zero Aura is going to be interesting as a Z Captain. Very fast mon. It can doesn't always have the highest damage output, but now it will with this Z move. It'll be able to nuke things with its Plasma Fist and any other coverage like close combat or whatever it decides to go for. And then Kyurem is another one of those mons that gets a lot of coverage. It's a really good Z user for that reason. But yeah, he's marking a really bulky team with Cresselia, Alomomola, and Shaman in the middle right there. Middle Queen is a great Stealth Rock setter. I like that. Starmie, obviously a good spinner. And then T-Tar's just kind of chilling there because why not? It didn't go drafted at this point, so why not take it? It could Pursuit Trap It could Pursuit Trap bulky Psychic types. It could just wreak havoc on opposing teams with its typing Stone Edge and Dark Crunch output damage. And then he kind of just drafted two cannon at the end because why not? YOLO for the memes, I guess. I guess maybe it really is one of his only ground immunities besides Cresselia. Yeah.
True. I mean, Alomomola can eat some EQs, but yeah, other than that.
Yeah, I don't
Shaman.
know. Yeah, Shaman, yeah, for the memes, I guess, Toucanon. What are your thoughts on his team?
Like I think you said earlier, this is actually a team that does have a little bit of Trick Room potential. Obviously, it has Cresselia, has Mega Mawile, as well as Tyranitar. I guess Toucanon even could be a Trick Room abuser. It is funny. Every Pokemon on this team either really likes Trick Room pretty much or really hates it. Because like Marshadow, Zeraora can't really run those Starmie. But I like a lot of the synergies he has. But I think I do agree. Mega Mawile could maybe be. You could probably do better for a tier 2. Like obviously the huge power is very nice, but your Steel type and your Fairy type, those are really big parts of your team. And again, it hits really hard. It's just taking a hit and then not being predictable, I think, is the problem for that Pokemon.
Absolutely, dude. Where would you rank him overall?
I would probably say, man, this is a tough one, man. This is think this is another one of those borderline, like it's more towards the middle. I like a lot of what it does, but I'd probably say more towards the middle of the pack or so. What about you? What do you think?
I would agree. Maybe middle, top middle, since we don't have too much in the top at the moment.
Like maybe towards like in that like 4, 5, 6, 7, in there.
What I'm just confused about is why is T-Tar? I mean, T-Tar is obviously a good mod on its own. I guess maybe it'll run under for a lot of weeks. He's not really rocking a sand team, so it doesn't really take advantage of the sand.
Yeah.
But I guess it will work against Yoshi's team to combat his sun. Just bring in the T-Tar, take away the sun every time.
Right. Well, you don't want to switch that in on a Groudon, but other than that, I would say yes.
Absolutely. Moving on to Dirtmons, coach of the Dublin Nation. Dublin. Sorry, Dublin. What is it? Is it Dublin or Dublin?
I think it's Dublin. Pretty sure it's Dublin.
Dublin Shamans. One of the best teams in the league, in my opinion, rocking out with the Hippo,
Yes.
Excadrill. He's rocking out with the Sand team. Hippo, Excadrill, a little bit of Pseudo Sand going on over there. This team is just really scary, dude. I like this team a lot. It's just going to be really hard to deal with. But I think he kind of suffers from the same problem I have a little bit. Not enough walls. I think his only real walls are... Actually, he has good walls. I'm sorry. I didn't see
He
this.
has a couple good ones, yes.
He has Suicune, Tangrowth, and Hippowdon. Really good walls. Don't they usually kind of go towards the defensive wall side though? Or is that just maybe I'm just
well, you can run Tangrowth Max Def AV, so it can take us a special hits. You can run Mix Hippo if you want. Suicune obviously can Calm Mind, so you can run it Fizz Def but put Calm Mind to boost that special defense.
Yeah.
He doesn't have 3 of them. Well, also Mew even can be defensive if you want it to be. Like the walls he has, he doesn't have a lot of them, but the ones he has are very, very effective. I'll say that much.
This is probably my favorite team in the league. Just eyeballing it right now, it is just a really powerful and scary team. But
I would agree.
And he also has the web potential with Galvantula, and if he ever decides to run that, oh my
Absolutely.
goodness. Rayquaza, don't even forget it. He has
that spicy round 12 Rayquaza is insane.
Jimmy Butler. Yeah.
There you go. That's insane.
What are your thoughts on his team?
I think this is it. Honestly, I think it is like objectively. I think it might be the best team in the draft as far as balance goes, as far as switching in goes. You have even on the Pokemon, he does have lack of speed. He has Galvantula and Sticky Web to make up for it. Emboar can be very scary. Again, a little bit ground weak maybe, but again, Tangrowth just says hi, so it doesn't really matter about EQs because of that. But other than that, like I said, you very, very good. Maybe the only thing, Megalopony being the fastest mon, but again, speed control with Excadrill and Hippowdon. Yeah, I would say this is probably my favorite draft we've seen so far.
Absolutely, dude. He has a lot of good. It's just a lot of good things going on here. I'm very proud of for drafting a really good team. We'll just be able to see if he can kind of keep up the momentum as we head into the regular season. There's no doubt he can if he really wants to. Moving on to our final draft, probably the worst team in the league. I'm just kidding.
You're right.
He's a really good team, but he's rocking with Lucario Lando. Lucario Lando. Who can switch into that? Just tell me right now.
Exactly. Yes.
Cough.
Very scary.
Nothing. And then Victini on top of that, just to add on to the threats that he already has. Very scary stuff going on. Z Dragonite and Z Scolipede, both are really good Z users in my opinion. But yeah, it's just, what are we gonna do? What are your thoughts on your team, I guess?
Yeah. Well, honestly, my first pick, come around the wheel, I just wanted to get 2 Pokemon that you talked about who switches into both of them. Nobody really. It's very, very difficult to do. So that's what it was. And then Victini on top of that, got those Band of V crates on deck for whoever wants them. It's basically a Z move. And then after that, for me, it was honestly just about supporting, getting pivots, getting bulk, wish support. So that was basically my plan from the start. Get those 2 hard hitters, or I guess those 3, and then get a bunch of other threats and bulk to just really try to make those 2 be successful, especially.
Milotic, Sarina, Florges, Snorlax. Ooh, that's going to be tough to break through, even with all these Ubers. Very bulky stuff going on over there. And then Jolteon's a really good Volt Turn core with Victini. Yikes, it's going to be tough. It's not going to be fun. And just to add insult to injury, you have a Crawdaunt there just
Honestly, yeah, I just needed the dark type, and it was the last round. And I'm like, you know what?
You need the dark types to really help take care of these bulky psychic types like Crest, but Scoliped's there as well. But yeah, I agree. Good, it's a good. I believe it gets Pursuit. I don't want to sound stupid and say it does, but it's a really good mod overall. Good priority as well. It may not be the fastest, but those Aqua Jets are sure gonna hit really hard overall. But yeah, where would you?
And he does not get Pursuit. I don't know. I don't know if you can rank your own team. Where do you think my team is? It's very hard for me to.
I'll
for
say
me
it.
to really.
It's easily a top 5 team. I think it could be a little after Derp's team, maybe like 1 or 2 slots below that. I'm sorry we didn't really do an official rankings, but we're just kind of eyeballing it as we're going. But yeah, I think Derp is obviously number 1, and this team is in contention for that 2 or 3 slot with Yoshi, in my opinion. And yeah, it's just gonna be. We're just obviously it doesn't matter where they are now. It matters where these teams end up with in what 10 weeks
Absolutely.
from now. So yeah, if you guys didn't like what we said about your team so far, prove us wrong and go out there and show the world what you're made of and make it to finals and win it.
Absolutely.
I mean, yeah, that's all you can really do here is just do that. But
Absolutely.
be sure to leave a comment, guys, down in the comment section below. Tell us where we messed up, and we'll be sure to look at it and laugh at it. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Byron, I want to thank you for joining me. Byron, any words to say to the folks out there?
Not much. Just glad to be here. Glad to give some nice commentary and help as much as I could. I think this is going to be a really fun season. A lot of really cool Pokemon to use, and I'm just excited to get started, really.
Me too, man. All right, everybody. This is Ranger signing off. Till next time, take care. Peace.